Okay, so I guess we're back. No, eso, mi amor. Toma eso. Y tú veo aquí.
Oh.
Hay otra persona.
Hi, everybody.
No, veo. ¿Hay personas allá o no?
No, not yet.
Okay, yo veo aquí.
Yes. Ay, ya te aprieto. Just one people.
Ah, sí?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. It's working. Dice hola.
Hola, I say hola.
Okay, eso así. Oh, okay. It's working. Dice hola. Okay, eso así. Okay, so I had tried to set the camera up in landscape mode, but it didn't want to hear it. It only wanted to go in portrait. So we're here. Well, 8 of you have come back. Thank you guys so much. I can't believe it. Gotta put my glasses on. There's Crisalida. So 10 of you have made it now. This is great. I'm so sorry for I'm at a loss because I tried this before and I once got the GoPro camera to connect into the laptop and it was phenomenal and you could bring the camera around with you and all that. But somewhere something's going wrong, so we're not able to do that. But we got 10 of you over here anyway, so thank you guys so much for watching. All right, so I can't read and type to you at the same time or talk to you at the same time because my glasses are. There we go. My glasses are on. Hi, Tim. Hi, good to see you. Good to see all of you. Jack, thank you. You guys have been on 3 or 4 times trying to get this thing to work. So, what's going on? Let me. Oh, look at me. I've got cruising hair.
Nunca se arregla para sus videos.
She goes, I'm never ready for the videos. Okay, so let me just explain what's going on. Try to keep the bouncing as little as possible. Oh, we got 21 of you guys made it over. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry for the technical problems. Anyway, let's go with this. So, yeah, we have been on vacation for 2 weeks. Tomorrow will be our last week of 3 weeks off. If you hear that banging, those 2 doors right there will flop on and off as we roll. We're sailing downwind, and so that's what's happening. Anyway, we just spent a week with my daughter and our friends Chris and Chrissy. You guys may have remembered Chris from other times. He's been a patron and has gone sailing with me all over. And I have big news about Chris for the channel, which is something really cool. And you know what? I don't have to lead it like that. Let me tell you what's going on. Chris has been a longtime friend of the channels, and like I say, a big supporter of the channels. And not just because he's a supporter, but because he keeps reaching out and wants to go sailing with us, and he makes it very easy. And he and his wife, Christy, have become very good friends over the years with us, and we've enjoyed having them on board. So, where does this come in with them? You see this thing? What you can't do is we don't have smell-o-vision right now. But with the downwind, this is smelling so good right now. This is what my friend Rick, some of you remember my old friend Rick, he refers to this as the fake egg. Because I used to be a big green egg guy back when I had a house. And I had a ridiculous amount of my life savings tied up in big green eggs. I'm all about big green eggs. The problem is that it's... See, un momento, mi amor. The problem is that when we went sailing, you don't see a lot of people with traditional charcoal grills, or at least the Kamado grills. I've never seen another sailboat with a Kamado grill on here. And it takes up a lot of space. But when I put the arch in, I realized, and I've said this in other videos, these seats right here, when I bought the boat, I said this was going to be a big deal. I really wanted those seats, and it turns out I hardly ever use them because all you see is the back of the solar panels when you sit in them. So I said, well, let's put this over to a Kamado grill. So we found this little cheap one. Look at this. Ooh, yeah, we got some pulled pork. She says she's really hungry now. So anyway, Chris and Christy had been sailing with us, and we've been eating, but it's such a small... I didn't want to spend $1 million on a Kamado grill because I didn't know if it would break out here, and there's a lot of steel on this. I figured it would rust away. Well, we've had this out in the elements since July, and it's done fine since then. So, and the only thing that sucks is that it's got only an 11-inch cooking space on it. So it's good for Crisalita and me, but if you have another couple on board, it's really it's tough. And I'll tell you about my plans. We're going to be going on a great big trip shortly, and I'll tell you all about that shortly. But Chris and Christy bought us a Joe Jr., a Kamado Joe Jr., which we're supposed to pick up in Florida, which should be basically the same thing. I think it's a 13-inch instead of 11. And you say, oh, that's only 2 more inches. That almost double our cooking space. So we're very excited about that. So that's awesome. But anyway, let's get back to TimBatSea, because I know that a lot of you guys are watching. Oh, look at that. There's 53 of you on board. That's great. Anyway, there's been a couple changes that have been happening. Many of you guys are aware. I'm sorry for having the camera bounce around so much. This is really why I wanted to use my GoPro so I could snap it in. You guys, I'm sure by now everyone's aware of the fact that because of changes in the industry, industry standards have changed as distractions have changed. And over the years, there's been some documented incidences that involve people with what on the road we'd call distracted driving. But in this case, it's distracted operating of a tugboat. And what happens is my boss is a great guy, and all that's wonderful. But we're moving other people's oil, and if you were a big oil company, you wouldn't want to think that your product might be moved by somebody who's not giving you their full and undivided attention. And so because of that, when I was narrating stuff live, a lot of you liked that, and quite frankly, I liked it too. And it was one of those things where you can, I think that when you've done this for as long as you have, you can do certain things simultaneously. It's kind of like when you're driving, when you're learning how to drive a car, probably wouldn't be a good idea to have a philosophical discussion with somebody in the passenger seat. But when you get to be our age, we drive the car almost automatically, and that's kind of how the whole thing worked with me. But it doesn't really matter. The customer didn't want that, so we didn't do that. So that's why that changed. But there's some other changes that are happening too. I know that you guys, I don't mean all of you, but the vast majority of the tugboat or the TimBatSea channel viewers like to see New York content and NYC content. And we say New York, but it's really mostly New Jersey. Anyway, it's a very busy harbor. We do a lot of work, and you guys like to see that over and over again. And I love to film it. It's a lot of fun. I kind of got that down. So I would love to do that. But we have to go where our where they ask us to go. And let me just turn this down. I have a little monitor over here, and I don't want it to keep messing up with you. There we go. So yeah, we got a new contract. When we get a new contract, you have to do whatever the contract says. And of course, I suppose if I went to my company and said, hey, you know what, I really want to do bunker work in New York, they would probably move me over and do that. But I think what I really want to do is keep my crew together and keep doing, and some of the stuff that we do, towing, that we don't do in bunker work, is much more challenging, even though it might not seem that way on camera. I know that the towing videos get 2% of the views that the bunkering videos do. But anyway, so we had a contract that I think goes until March. So it's just coming up to the end of the contract now, with basically defense fuel. It's moving fuel for the government, and that's where we go down to Houston, Texas, and we get a whole bunch of jet fuel and bring it to different places. And we are continuing to do that now. So that's why you haven't seen a lot of New York stuff. Some of the New York stuff that I've been posting has been stuff that I've filmed a long time ago and added in. I think I have one more thing that of us going up against one of those penguin ships. And I have to put that together. But that's about the last thing I have in New York Harbor. Does it mean that we'll ever go back to New York Harbor? No, who knows? We could definitely go back there. It is what the contract is. And like I said, I think they don't, the way these companies work, and at first it seemed really strange, but I kind of like it this way. Us guys that run the boat don't really know too much about what's happening behind the scenes. And like I say, when I first started doing this in this business, I was kind of put off by that. Now that I've been doing it a while, I don't really want to know. I don't know how much it costs to hire an assist tug. I don't know how much it costs to hire a pilot. All I know is that I got to do this, move it from here to there, and I do that. And That's enough. So I don't know what's going to happen. I've heard rumors that we've been hearing rumors for a year that we're going back to Puerto Rico, but apparently that's never going to happen. Or I don't mean never. There's never say never, but that's not going to. Now, I'm on the fence of whether I should tell you guys this or not. I've been telling my patrons this, and any of you, I know that a bunch of you patrons, we're going to have a patron only live stream today, and we decided to open this up to all of you, but a patron live one will get their own thing later on in the week. But I've been sharing this with them for a while, and the big news is that if I'm going to be taking a sabbatical, I'd like to say retiring, but the truth is it's probably more of a sabbatical, and that's that there is another window, this sailboat, Paquita, and sail it from here to the Mediterranean via the Azores. So in order to sail from the East Coast to the Azores and then onto the Mediterranean, you can do that almost any time of year you want, but if you do this thing called the Atlantic Circuit, where it's a complete circle where you go to the Mediterranean for 6 months, then you pop out, go down to Cape Verde, then over across to Trinidad, then all the way up the Windward Islands and Leeward Islands, and all the way up back, and then by that time hurricane season started, and then you're back in New England again. To do that, it usually takes a year to do that, and there's a precise weather window, or somewhat precise, somewhere between May and June is that window that you have to leave to hit all the weather windows right to make the circle. So what that means is I've been trying to get my life and the boat ready so that I'd be all set to do this. And why do this now? I'm 58 years old, and every day, those of you that are my age, or God forbid even older, know that one of the hardest things that happens about getting this age is that you start burying a lot of your friends. And that's something that's really hit me emotionally. Friends I grew up with, people that are younger than I am, have untimely deaths. And I think the only thing that would be worse than dying early at this age would be to be in a health state that I couldn't achieve the goal that I've had all my life, and that would be to sail around the world, or at least the Atlantic Loop anyway. So, should I work until I was 65, 67 and a half? Yes, I really should. Are my kids taken care of? Yes, they are. They're all out of school. Everything's paid off. We're all good. Do I have any money? Well, I told you guys I've been through 2 divorces, and any money I have, you would think all goes to this lady, but it really goes to this lady, Paquita, the sailboat. So, I think it's better that, 58 when I was 20 seemed like it was a death sentence, like I'd be dead. The idea that I'd never make it to 58. When I was 50, 58 seemed a lot closer, but still seemed a far ways away. I think when I'm 65, I'll look back and say, God, I wish I was 58 again. And so because of that, I'm doing everything I can so that the last day of April will be my last crew change. Anyway, what does that mean for you guys? Some of you guys have been with me right from the beginning, all the way from the beginning, and watched. I mean, some of you on here right now are people who have been patrons with me since the day I opened up Patreon. You guys have been great, and it's been awesome. I'm really hoping to keep the channel alive, and let me tell you how this is going to work. Well, not how it's going to work, how I'd like it to work. We will see as time goes by how things work. But one of the things that I might do, I want this, one of the things I would like to have happen, and we haven't worked it all out yet, but if some of you might remember my chief engineer, Keith, he's made a couple really, really funny videos for us. And Keith, I love Keith. He's my brother, not literally, but you know what I mean? Anyway, he and I work very well together, and we have a trust between each other that would work really well. And he would be able to, in his capacity as an engineer, he could set up a couple cameras, regardless of who's running the boat or whatever, shoot some video, and then send it to me wherever I might be in the world at that time. I would be able to download it and narrate what's going on, what you see, and all that sort of stuff. That's one option. obviously he probably wouldn't be able to do that, and the frequency of me producing videos every week, that's kind of a bygone era right now, just because I don't have the content to fill, even if had the time to produce all those videos. So he would probably do that. I'm thinking like every 2 weeks, something like that. He wants to talk about it, and he and I have been going back and forth. What's good is he's such a decent guy. He wouldn't just say yes and then not do that. And if then there's another thing too, and that and we could work this in as well too. I've been in the industry for quite a while, and I have a lot of friends, and there are a lot of friends that might put some content, shoot some content, and once again send it to me over the internet. We would download it and do it, and build a video from their perspective. One of the things I've been trying to do, and unfortunately working around the legal aspects of other companies has been a lot harder than it has been with the awesome company that I work for. My friends that work for other companies, they want to do this, they want to show you stuff, and their legal department wants nothing to do with it. And so, yeah, and you gotta, it's none of us, these 10, 15, $20 million tugs, none of us regular people own these things. So you kind of have to do it at the way they want to do it at all. So that's another option that we might do. I've been saying for a while that the future of well, let me take you back way into the past and say that a long time ago, before I ever had a YouTube channel, I used to say to myself, someday I want to sail around the world, and it would be fun to document it, not only for my own records, but maybe to show my grandkids and that sort of stuff. Oh, you know what? I'm getting a message. I'm getting a pretty cool message on the phone here. Oh, you're not going to be able to see it. It's this, I'm getting an alarm because my temperature. Oh, you're still there, right? I hope I didn't hang up on you. Yeah, it says that you're still there. All right, so I'm going to shut this down and let it simmer in its own juices for a little while. All right. All right. Oh, that's looking good. So, sorry about that. Okay, there we go. So, where was I? I think I got pork on my mind. Yeah, if everything goes well, or a long time ago, I knew that I watched, like not many of you, but maybe some of you have watched some sailing channels and often thought, boy, that's something that appeals to me. Long before there was any internet, all my life I've been raised, since I was a child, I read about sailing around the world and meeting people, and my parents were always really cool about spending money, not taking us to Disney World, but to take us to other civilizations and cultures that we could start to appreciate those sorts of things. And that's what I've been doing, and I really want to do that on a sailboat. And the world is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and finding people that might not know about a sailboat, or might not find people that look like me to be an anomaly, that's getting harder and harder to do all the time. So that's something that we're hoping that I can still do. In doing that, I would want to document it for my own, memory, but it would be nice to share and in watching videos, there's a big part of my life in the past has been, jockey, and the word disc jockey today means girl buttons. That's not what we did. We were with the Technic 1200s and the 12-inch singles. And anyway, that wasn't the thing. So anyway, there's a part of me that misses that. Having said, I am the first to recognize that I don't possess one artistic bone in my body. And so the people that are really good with setting up a good shot and doing video and doing all this sort of stuff, they're awesome. They're the people that should be doing this stuff. I knew that I wasn't that. But I did play a lot of sports when I was younger, and I realized that the harder you work something, the more you do it, generally the better you get. And so I decided to start, before I had a sailboat, I would start making videos and try to get into the process of how this is all done. And so I said, what should I do? Well, one thing I do is I work on tugboats. So I started doing that, and that's where the TimBatSea channel kind of started. It was never meant to be. It was only supposed to be a learning thing, and now that we have over 10 times the amount of people that we have on SV Paquita channel. And on the SV Paquita channel, I think that most of you are just being generous, and that you are TimBatSea fans, and you're just helping me out by clicking. And I appreciate I'll take anything. I appreciate it. It's very hard to have a sailing channel if you're not young and beautiful. Anyway, so the TimBatSea channel. Oh, there's another part of this that I haven't told you about, and that's that I think that after I do this circle for a year, it'd be very possible. It's not possible. It's definitely going to be the case that many things have broken on the boat, and the boat is going to require a whole bunch of repairs. It's going to cost a whole bunch of money. So it would only make sense that in my dream to sail around the world, I would put the boat on the hard for 3 or 4 months every year during the height of the hurricane, or in the Pacific's case, the cyclone season, and come back. And fortunately, with our line of work, we can. There should be plenty of work available for people that are licensed and can do this sort of stuff. It has the skill set, and so I'm hoping. My company obviously can't promise me that they'll hold a spot for me for this time, but they've been very good to me, and they would probably be the first place that I would look to see when I came back, just because I know them and I know their system. But if that doesn't happen, there's a plethora of other companies that I'm sure that I could go to work for 3 or 4 months, and pay for the stuff that would need to be done on the boat, and also finance another year of cruising. So in that process, wherever that goes, I'm hoping that I'll be able to also film more content to put out through the rest of the year, and that would be really cool for you guys that are TimBatSea fans and aren't necessarily SV Paquita fans. As far as SV Paquita goes, I still haven't got what I think they call it in the industry finding my voice yet, and that means that I'm not really sure how to do what it is. I'm still kind of experimenting with different things. The TimBatSea thing kind of happened where it was perfect when I was able to set up the cameras and just talk and go, and that really worked for me. I need to get in that sort of comfort and feel good about what I'm doing on the SV Paquita channel, and I think things will be much better for everybody involved if that's the case. But if you haven't gone over and subscribed, you'd really help me out if you did, and that's really cool. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give Chrysalida the phone, and I'm going to go to the tablet and see if I can start reading through some of your questions, all right? Or any comments and all that sort of stuff. So Chrysalida, toma eso. And Chrysalida is not only a beautiful woman and an amazing hairdresser, but she's also an American citizen. She's been like that for almost 20 some years, so we don't have to worry about her being deported. Some of you people have made some funny comments about that. But anyway, that doesn't necessarily mean that English is her first language, so I will help with that. All right, yo leo.
Hola.
Es necesario, sí, pero no mucho, un poco despacio, sí, eso. Yo quiero leer aquí. Okay, hey. Hay una persona que dice, hola, Chrysalida.
Hello.
Doc from Wyoming wants to know if we're in the Bermuda Triangle. What are you cooking? We are cooking a low and slow pork shoulder, and so that's what's cooking. Trying to read through the comments that came up a while ago. Tim, you always said if you cook, it'd be great on a tugboat mate. Yes, you know what? I think that my skills in the galley definitely have saved me many times when I was on deck. Toasted fish.
Look at the water. Look.
My work is split right now from 3 weeks on and 3 weeks off. We just came off a 4-week thing where we were rotated the holidays for 4 weeks on and 4 weeks off. Boca, Florida. Hello. Hey, Trucker's Life from Boca. Trucker's Life from Boca, Florida. I don't know if you're a patron or not, but I think we're having a meetup in Fort Lauderdale. So we'll be there for about a week. So if you're interested, let me know. Hi from France. There's Dirty Eric.
Somebody said, who is the beautiful crew?
Have I ever wanted to work on a barge or on the Mississippi? Well, we were talking about different contracts, and I had a contract a while ago where I worked on the Mississippi. We go up to Baton Rouge with our what we call a seagoing tug, and pick up a load of fuel again, once again for the military, and bring it all the way down to wherever they needed it from there. That was a while ago, but no. Usually, most of my
Hola,
experience has been
service.
on the ocean, and that's okay with me.
Service.
Old guy with technology. Ah, that's Sal.
¿Quién?
Sal, are you still on here?
No, Sal.
Sal is the amigo Dr. Sal from What's Going On with Shipping. Dr. Sal from What's Going On with Shipping. He said, gee, an old guy with technology 4 times? Come on, Tim. You see, he's a professor surrounded by young whippersnappers all day, and he's dialed right in. Sal, I invited you before to come out boating, if not drinking, with me so you could get everything working for me.
Sal.
Somebody goes, George Bean says, well, at least half of the SVP team is young and beautiful. The beautiful thing, she's only 4 years younger than I am. Crystalita is extremely well preserved. And she's a grandmother. And you know what? She doesn't even mind me saying that, even in English. Hey. I need to find a crew like that. Hay mucha gente te gusta Cristalida. Your channel makes me miss the ship channel. Yep. That's great. Hey.
Chunk.
Hey, I don't know how to say this. I've been in communication and friends with this guy for years, and I think he's an old-time mariner. But it's parody show or parati show. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Anyway, he does all these lighting and stuff for weddings. And I was just trying to get him to see if he'd leave Brazil and come up to the Dominican Republic, and maybe Cristalita and I could get married one day. Need some wind out there. We do. You're exactly right, Eric. Looks nice out there, Tim. It's negative 10 here. There's a heat wave coming. It'll be 2 by this afternoon. Who is that beautiful crew with you have there? That's the lovely Cristalida. Hola todos fabuloso.
Yeah.
Brazil in the house. Welcome from the
Cristalida, cuidado con este vehículo. I know.
Thank you in the UK. Going to Mexico Beach, Florida, Thursday.
Woo-hoo.
Oh, nice, cool. How are you? You know what? George Bean has a great question here. He says, "How have you considered trying to visit other tugs in SV Paquita ports of call?" That is a fantastic idea. I think that it's highly unlikely that anyone would want me on their tug, let alone be legally allowed to. And let me kind of explain why that is. Generally speaking, sailboaters don't always have the best rapport with tugboaters, and perhaps they've earned that reputation, or perhaps they haven't. But that's usually the case. So when I go sailing into a foreign land, not only am I a foreigner, and but I'm also somebody that is in the sailboat. Those are two big strikes against me. And then you'd have to, like for example, if somebody from say Spain came and they wanted to shoot a video on one of our tugs, we aren't allowed to have